Hi, in this video, I'm going to be talking about networking with the LinkedIn Alumni tool. One of the reasons that networking is really important is to help you tap into the hidden job market. The hidden job market is essentially the positions that are filled that never were advertised publicly by companies. So really like the best way to be able to learn about these opportunities so that you can apply to them is to develop relationships with people who are already in those companies and really having them vouch for you so that your likelihood of getting your applications reviewed are a lot higher. So in this video, I'll focus specifically on how to utilize the LinkedIn Alumni tool to really help you connect with other UCSC alumni or with UCSC alumni. Specifically, we'll go over how to explore different career paths, how to connect with folks, and then also how to set up these informational interviews or meetings with alumni to be able to get some more insight from them. So every school, every university, college, has a similar like page on LinkedIn where you can search for. If you go to the main UC Santa Cruz page, which I also linked up here, and if you go to the little alumni tab, and if you scroll down, you'll see a dashboard that LinkedIn has that summarizes different things such as where do these alumni work, where do they live, what type of work that they do, what was their major. And then on the top here, you'll also see that there's over 120,000 active users on LinkedIn that have associated themselves to UC Santa Cruz. So couple of ways that you can utilize this feature is by searching by majors with alumni who maybe studied something similar to you so that you can get an idea of like what are the different companies that they are, what are the different career paths that they've been doing. So that's one of the ways that folks can utilize LinkedIn Alumni tool. Another way of utilizing it is if you already have like a specific role or type of position that you're interested in. I always recommend also utilizing the keyword search to be able to search for those particular um, type of positions or careers that you're interested in. And again, this will then update the numbers and the dashboard so that then you'll be able to see specifically like filter by then more relevant companies and folks that meet that particular criteria. After you play around with these keywords, you can add as many or as few keywords as you want or filters to this dashboard. But then if you continue scrolling down, then you'll actually see like who meets the criteria for your searches that you um, search for. A couple of things I want to mention here is you'll notice that next to each person's name, there's going to be a little number. In this example, like they all say second. That basically refers to like how many degrees of connections you are to these respective individuals on LinkedIn. So people that you're already connected with, you'll see a first degree connection there. Um, as you can see here with the second degree connections, it's basically I have common mutual connection with each of these people. So that's why we're second degree connection. So you do have to be, I believe, within 3 degrees of connections to people to actually be able to see their information and for you to be able to like view their profiles. So just keep that in mind if you're new to LinkedIn or if you don't have a lot of people connected with because maybe you created it a while ago, but you haven't actively utilized it. I do recommend like start slowly, but like start connecting with people that you already know, your colleagues, your peers, your professors, staff that you're connected with. And as soon as you connect with them, right, you are already tapping into like their network of people. So it's basically like a snowball effect. So if you haven't already started, it's not too late to definitely do it. Um, as then you're connecting with different people, kind of different things you want to consider, right, is what is their job position, right? Whether it's something that they're currently doing or a previous experience that they've done. You can also, something that folks typically look for is like maybe a specific company that they might be interested in or organization, or even just exploring by, again, as I mentioned, you can search by folks by major so that you can see like what different career paths folks have explored what's a similar major to you. things to consider when actually connecting on LinkedIn is that typically we would recommend folks to add a personalized note to the connection request, but um, recently LinkedIn has limited the personalized message to up to 5 connections per month. So I do recommend that you're strategic on, again, that personalized note. It doesn't necessarily mean that you can only connect with 5 people. It means that you can only do the personalized note to up to 5 people before you get messages to upgrade to the LinkedIn Premium. So what I'd recommend is, again, the people that you already know, like your friends, your colleagues, faculty, staff that you already know, I do recommend just doing the regular connection with them with no note so that you don't use up those 5 personalized notes and really prioritize those personalized notes for folks that you might haven't already met with in person. Um, Other ways, really, like another effective way to ultimately connect with people is to be able to email them. So a few ways you can definitely do this beyond just the connections within LinkedIn is really just Google that person's like name and the company that they're associated with and see what comes up. You'll be surprised sometimes of like how easy it is to find their email addresses. If something explicitly doesn't come up, another way that you can try searching is by going to the company's website to see if they have some sort of like staff page. Sometimes they're called about us or who we are, our team, or some version of that, but it's essentially their staff page. That could be another place you might want to search for to see if it lists out their different staff and also includes their email address. Another resource you can also try is something called hunter.io. This you can sign up for a free platform or a free plan for this, which does allow you to search up to 25 searches per month on the free plan. Essentially, what this is it allows you to search for a person's full name and the company that they're associated with. And this will basically try its best to basically see like if that person's email address has been publicly um, published somewhere on a website. So as you'll see here as this example, as you can search for the person's name, and if it finds it, it'll let you know like what their email addresses. It'll have like a percentage of like how confident it is that that's their active email address. You can also click to see more to actually see like where the getting this particular email address from. So there's another really great resource to try to help you identify specific people's email address if it's not easily found on like Google search. The next step after you like connect with people and you identify who they are and you're able to get in contact with them is this actually isn't to help you like more on the content of it because some folks are like okay now I identified the person but I'm not really sure like what to ask them or what to message them so here I've drafted kind of just like a message that you can utilize as like a template um, and whether this is utilized as like a personalized note within LinkedIn or you can also utilize this in an email if you are able to find that contact information but it can basically be something like, "Hi Maria, my name is Eric, and I'm a economics UCSC student. May I meet with you to learn more about your data analyst experience at PwC? I'm trying to learn more about how to get into consulting on the data analyst side, and your insights would be greatly appreciated. Sincerely, Eric." So again, here, again, you can utilize this template, definitely customize it for your purpose, but this is a really good succinct type of message that you can send with folks. And if they respond to you, then you can follow up with more details of how to actually connect with them and what type of messaging to send for them. So if they do respond and are open to connect with you, um, really like these informational interviews are going to be super valuable, right? Because they can really provide you more insight into the industries that you're interested in for. I typically recommend asking for approximately like 30 minutes. I think that's usually enough time to be able to get to know that person a little bit better and for you to be able to ask some questions that are going to give you the information that you really need. Um, key thing here to focus is make sure that most of the time during the meeting is really focused on the alumni or the person that you're meeting with and not just you mostly talking about yourself, right? Because again, you want to utilize this time to gain their insights and their advice from their experiences. Here are kind of some of the suggestions of ways that I'd recommend kind of structuring these informational interviews, and kind of some suggested questions to go along with it, right? So keep in mind, if you kind of follow the recommendation of like 30 minutes, is you won't realistically be able to ask all of these questions. So I'd recommend within kind of each of these, right? So definitely having an introduction and a wrap up at the beginning and ends, but then in the middle is what I'd recommend focus on like trend question, a question about their insights, their advice, and then resources. So again, each of those in the middle, I kind of have a couple of suggestions, but feel free to use whatever you feel is like most appropriate to your situation. The main thing here is to me mindful, especially towards the end in the resource section, is you don't want to like outright say like, hey, can you connect me to like your hiring manager or can you specifically like provide me a referral, which again, some people can find that a little bit off-putting. So like as you have these conversations with folks, typically you'll be able to gauge like how willing they are going to be to advocate for you, right? So like that's the other thing is you don't just want to like outright ask for a referral if they don't feel comfortable doing so, right? Most of the time, like if you identify somebody who really wants to help you out, usually when you ask that resource question of like what resource should I look into next, or what steps should you recommend for me to someone in my situation is if they're willing to, they'll typically offer like, hey, you should connect with so and so. Here's their contact information, right? So that's kind of like will naturally come out. If they don't specifically refer to somebody there, then I do recommend doing so later on, not necessarily in this meeting, but in a follow-up. Um, and there's other ways that you can approach that so that then ultimately you are able to get some type of referral. And essentially what that referral is somebody basically within that company vouching for you, or one, letting you know that there's an opportunity for you to apply to, and second, to be able to vouch for you internally so that your application for that position, you're more likely to actually have somebody review it, and get you into the queue of the application process. So just to recap here is again, the alumni tool is a really great way to be able to identify folks with interest that career interests that are similar to yours. It'll help you expand your network, and you'll be able to utilize it to help you identify folks to set up informational interviews. And again, really for you to utilize these informational interviews to get you more insights and learn about different job opportunities. Thank you very much.